Are online.
We
Yep.
got it, great. So it seems like some of our planning board members did not get the memo, but we have a quorum. So we're going to start our hearing for the landing trail, get that over with before the 6 o'clock. Public hearing. Oh, Aaron's here too. Hold on a sec. A public hearing over growth area changes. First, I'm going to tell you to be a voting member tonight. Mary, and the Quicken and Comfort is on the way. And hopefully we'll see you play. So I'm gonna open this to public comment. If anybody wants to, oh, I do want to mention, we got the letter from Brett Kopp. Who represented, is Brett here?
No, that's
No.
why I sent the letter. John,
Yeah, and we'll make sure it gets into the record, but it is, Brett represents a group of, homeowners in the area near the landing trail who are, in favor of this amendment, I just want to say. Without actually getting who they are, because I can't remember the name of it. Do they remember the name of the group that's from day one?
Nature way, it's I think it's really straight on.
Thank you.
I don't know if he's speaking on that for the homeowners association, I think he's speaking
On his,
on his own behalf in regards to the land use there.
okay, wait, let me just make sure I make this okay. I am writing as a member, I'm sorry, Atlantic Coast Committee as a member of the Liberty Street Company, thank you, for the correction, yes. But Brett is in favor of it, so, and I don't think we've received any other letters about it. So if anybody would like to speak on it, please now's your hand for the public hearing. And if not, then the planning board will just move ahead with what we do. Good, good to go. All right.
There are folks who are supporting the land use trail.
So I actually have the amendment. I know there were a couple of typos that will be corrected or have been corrected, but I will entertain a motion to move the amendments to town council for their public hearing. And then a second.
So moved.
Oh, wait, Tim's gonna be doing our notes from the video, but just in case, I'm gonna write it down, sorry. Motion?
Yep, motion.
Okay, and a second, yeah, thank you, and all in favor, we'll do roll call because we are, I'm sorry. Because we're online, Tony,
Aye.
Hershey votes aye.
Aye. First one side.
Great, that passed, 4-0. Gonna make a note to myself. So now this will go to the town council for their public hearing and then to pass the amendment. And be part of our zoning ordinance. And now we have 9 minutes to kill, so everybody can relax again until our 6 o'clock. Hearing. So I will close the public hearing.
but
It was fun.
other than, you know, I got what I paid.
Were there, did you talk to any partners?
I'm gonna hold this conversation.
Later.
Really?
Hi everyone, at 6 o'clock, I'd like to go ahead and get started, sorry. Good evening, everyone, we're here this evening for a joint public hearing with the town council and the planning board. John James, our town council chair, was unable to make it this evening, we have four councilors here, we have 4 planning board members here. We're here to host a public hearing for some proposed amendments to a growth area map that's included in our comprehensive plan. This has been something that's been worked by the planning board for 6-ish months or maybe more. And now to have a joint public hearing at this point, given all of the work that's been done thus far. I will open it up in, first of all, I'm gonna ask the planning board and probably her chief and chair of the planning board to take the lead. I'm just giving everyone an overview of what the proposed changes are. Then we will open up for public comment and we will answer questions as necessary. And from there, any further action, no action will be taken at this point in the evening. From here, the actual amendment will be passed to the town council. We have a regular council meeting next week. And that should be on our agenda for next week, to take action on the proposed changes this evening. So tonight is all about hearing people's concerns, or support of the proposed amendments, but first I will go ahead and hand it over to Hershey to kind of give us an overview of the changes that have been made.
All right, so you all know that we spent a couple of years working on our growth plan. That was then part of the comp plan, sorry, a couple of years in the comp plan. The growth area that was downtown, and I believe this was the original one. People can see it in the packets. And this was the newly proposed one, which became much smaller. And the reason for that is that the legislation, main state legislature passed 1829, a bill that greatly affected a variety of issues around zoning and imposed them on towns in Maine. Chief among them, density requirements that would sort of could potentially change the face of your town. So we took that to heart and decided that we would rework our growth area into something that we thought would be more in line with what potential growth could occur. Let me point out that B1 has always had a limited growth downtown, and we haven't seen any skyscrapers there yet, so no one should panic. And if you look through, do people get the packets?
We have more up here if you need them.
Yeah, you'll see that it's redlined as well, and aside from the change initially where we extended down 236, we took out all this middle area. We actually, I think, went about that far, but took out some pieces that were over here. And we actually took out all of Old Mill and Aggie Estates, right? Oh, the calling for H. Thank you. All right, there's more detail on this map if you look at it. And we also did a little cleaning up in that the original growth area had a few spots where one side of the street was in it, one side wasn't, so we corrected some of that. And if you look on the packet on the 3rd page, which is 199 of the comp plan, you'll see redline that with it, we narrowed what was in R1 and we mapped out what parcels were included by street name. So that really is what we've done. A lot of other pieces around LD 1829 we have been working on, but have done little more than sort of workshop and discuss zoning amendments that are related to other pieces of this, especially table B. And we've also tweaked a few other pieces of the zoning ordinance to acknowledge that we are really intent on keeping R4 and R5 rural. People have spoken really clearly that they don't want, I think, suburban sprawl. You don't want to see a lot of subdivision or developments out there. puts a burden on town resources such as ambulances and fire. And it also puts people in their cars more, and we're trying our best to maintain those outlying areas for conservation, for agriculture. And so we also have some amendments we're gonna get to later that are gonna make for, you have to have bigger parcels, there's gonna be less land available for development when you buy one big piece and attempt to subdivide it. So we are going to put all those off, even though we've been working on them until our new planner, Jeff Brubaker, starts July 6th. So we've been working on these the last few meetings, but we're just gonna set them aside and wait for Jeff to continue leading us now that DeCarlo is sort of issued up. Yes.
If I could,
Please, Phil.
the comprehensive plan is just recently approved. If the town spent a lot of time and effort, a lot of people in the town putting together that comprehensive plan, including, the former growth area, every permit. Move on. That's not to say that there was anything done wrong in the previous effort. What happened, as Hershey mentioned, the state came in and imposed new regulations which changed the dynamic of the town and the impact that a growth area could have within the town. So the planner, DeCarlo came to us and said, we really need to take a look at this. And it was clear that we needed to revise, or at least attempt to revise, the growth area in comprehensive plan because the rules changed. So I just want to make that clear. It was not an issue of anything being worked on wrong or an oversight of the previous comp plan work.
You heard Paul's feelings.
I did, I'm sorry.
I'll be by other comment.
Thank you. Any other like context that anyone wants to add, or, and I know for council, this is, I think it's sometimes the first time we're hearing, so do you guys have any questions, any points of clarification before we go into the public hearing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right, go ahead.
just to add to that, I think, these guys summarize it really well. The new law. You can see in your package the way the old growth area was devised. And it was fairly extensive because at the time when that plan was put together, we felt that the town was running out of space for more housing. And I think it was a realization that, and concern that we need to create more housing, whether people like it or not, we need to do that. However, with the size of that growth area, under the new guidelines, it would have been a extremely significant amount of potential for new housing. And I think, maybe it was in February, I can't remember when it was, and instructed the planning board and DeCarlo to shrink that growth area, because it just concerns about the level of housing that might occur. And it's really hard to describe how much housing that is, because it's. Basically, you can put 11 houses per acre.
32 units per acre.
Yeah, over time.
Over time,
Over time.
every 5 years.
So within the growth area, if you were on water and sewer, you can have 11 housing units per acre. And then over time, after you can re-subdivide that, and then over time, you actually eventually create 32. I don't think it's likely that would happen, but in any case, 11 could take place right off the bat. If you are on water and sewer, and that's the critical issue with all of this, is whether you are on water and sewer. That was what the planning board, I think, mainly took into account as they put this new area together, so. Yeah, that's my statement.
Sorry, just quick one for me. So looking at the packet, make sure I understand it. Page 8 is the blue for everyone in the clouds. The one with the dark with the greens. Yeah, so the goal is to shift that land map to the next page, which is the growth area. And with that, with all the new zoning changes, everything for LD 1829. In this, and I apologize if this is like in here and I haven't been able to see it. Based on the purple and the green, I think, is there a recommendation for types of buildings that are allowed in this?
That is a different part of the ordinance that we will, we're gonna hold off on. Sure.
So one of the things that's kind of changed about new L 1829 is the way that density is regulated. Because of the new, regulations that are going in where we can have now up to 11 units per acre. We are going to be looking at new design standards for, you know, for this growth area and for new subdivisions in order to limit and control how those new units should be looking. So that will be part of this thing that we're going to be tackling, you know, over the next year. Now that we have a lot additional time with the fix that passed through the legislature, we don't have to get this all done by, you know, now, so that we were at a breakneck pace trying to do that, but now that we got the planners coming in, we've got some more time. We will be doing more, you know, reach out to the public as well, and as we're going through the rest of that process.
Perfect.
Any other questions, Nancy?
I guess my question would be is. With to your point, Aaron, about having a little more time, and I know that the whole process of updating the comprehensive plan is somewhat time consuming, it's taking a while to get here. And unrelated to the map itself. Have we, or the planning board or anyone, looked into the remainder of the plan stages, anything that needs to be done that could or should be done simultaneous to this update to make it more aligned with other aspects of that law that may not just specifically be related to.
So the fix legislation which passed, right, just before the end of the session and goes into effect July, whatever it is, 15th or 31st of 2173 law. I believe it has some comments around growth and density when there is no water and sewer and how to handle those. But we're not really addressing that. The only thing we've been working on is what this means for the growth area. And like I said, there are other things around the ordinance we're working on that have an effect within that, but we don't have to worry about it. We don't feel like we have to wait on those in order to have this be done. We feel like this is in good shape. We feel really confident about what we're seeing around density and where we think it should go. And that these are the places we feel confident, they have water, sewer, and we've made it, as you can see, a lot smaller in some ways and more expansive down to 36. And other changes will affect other pieces, but not this piece. We feel good about this being the growth area. And the extension will make that change. I don't think we're gonna, there's nothing else we need to do about this. So there's nothing. The extension won't, we're not gonna revisit it, there's nothing else we need. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I understand.
That's what you asked, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making sure.
If I can ask one more question that I literally just noticed, since we've been here. Is there gonna be any parcel lists associated with this? Because I noticed the turntable by Flame. It looks like that parcel is sort of excluded from this. But just briefly skimming the description on the red line description doesn't sort of exclude it, so I'm wondering if we probably discussed around this, but
As far as the detail and getting down to an individual lots, all of this is to be mapped in the GIS system, so you can drill down into that and get the specific, you know, tax information for every lot and whether it's in this zone or not in that zone.
Yeah, I think it's important to point out, this is not a zoning map.
Right.
This is the future land use map, and I've seen ones that are a lot less detailed than this, you know. So I think there's more, I mean, I have some questions about certain about certain parcels that I.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
which I think a lot of
We
people.
just call it right, so yes, no, so it is, they are related to actual parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my question then was, does that have to be also, I understand the intention, but like, would a parcel list have to be adopted to sort of help define the next step of the land use?
It's actually-
amendment.
If I can address this, doing an actual parcel list is not the best way to approach it, rather than map the areas that are contained. Because part of the act of subdivision is creating new parcels. So, you know, for us, you could make a list of everything right now, but you know. If someone was to go down and subdivide their parcel, you know, even if they just did it once, they don't even have to planning board because until you get 3 subdivision, you know, it wouldn't need to come to us. So that's kind of why we were actually looking at the areas affected and delineating that map area rather than actual list of parcels.
But they do, well, we don't list, but they do follow personally.
Yeah, so they follow the existing parcel list, and so all of this is actually divided into parcels, and we don't have any partial parcels that are included or anything else. But that's why we have this red line about which parcels are included. And the way, that's kind of the way it's done, rather than an actual parcel number, blah, 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 parcel number, blah, 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 blah.
But you know, Tony's right, it's in the GIS, and that's.
So like the parcel against 91, 236.
But
Like,
that's not. There's a whole area between sort of downtown. And further down 236 that. Was left out, partly there's, you know, there's a huge marsh there, it's on the highway, there's a complicated intersection. And for a lot of reasons, and especially we had, it was basically taken out. It's this little.
but yeah, I guess. To that, my point then would be if we're not specifically following existing parcels, for example, and it's like, it's either side of 236. Abutting lots, either side of 236 down to the town line. Then by that metric, that parcel would sort of be included if it's not specifically excluded.
It's what's in here.
So what we actually did to address this.
I'm not trying to be a pain, I would.
No, and I get where you're coming from, and actually, that was one of the issues that we kind of looked at, because the original growth plan did not go by parcels, and instead. So we did have, when we were revising this, we did have some sections where, oh, here's a half this parcel's in a growth area, half is not. When we revised it, we actually did look at, so we mapped out by parcels, which parcels be included. And then this was the legal description that they came back for what those boundaries are. But that's why we kind of came with you know, these parcels between Berwick Road, Berwick Road and Lower Main Street, and, you know, all parcels. Abutting the 236 corridor south of the intersection of 236 and 91. That's why it's kind of spelled out that way instead of just a list of existing parcels, because that list will is not change. But it is mapped out to the actual part. Don't have parcels that are in growth area or have anything that's not. It's based on that existing map as the out by parcel.
No, this is a draft, so.
And this is, yeah.
I mean, I. Kudos to you guys, I know you spent a lot of time on it, I mean, I have a couple of parcels. I mean, we could spend right here arguing about parcels, you know, but I mean, you know, I think, you know. That's probably not the time right now, I think we should mention, we do have a public here, we have a workshop.
Yeah, workshop.
Yeah, in July.
And if you wanna put off your vote. On this until that workshop, that would be fine with us, right?
Well, that's a good action.
Yeah.
If you guys.
Correct, I've been thinking.
Well, I know,
Might be.
Yeah.
and I
Then
also.
I'll get it first.
He knows which one I'm talking about. I think, well, the other thing is that, you know, we have a new planner coming on board and he's very familiar with the town because he lives here. So I don't think we see him as like redoing this whole thing, but I do think having him have the opportunity to just sort of vet it and he's the one who's gonna have to implement it. So anyway.
All right,
Any other?
No, thank you very much.
All right, we will move to public hearing and you will sign in, if anyone who came in, we can, kind of be flexible. First I got Dennis. Nothing? All right, Brad?
Hi.
Hi.
hey Brad.
How you doing, folks? Yeah, there's a lot here. I'm glad you're all together. I'm not sure if you all had the opportunity to read my most recent letter. There is confusion, but I think sure that you received it. I think you even got a hard copy. One thing that I want to say from the beginning is that I think the 2024 comprehensive plan update is an incredibly well-written and excellent document. And I think it should be served as a guide as how to approach. Not only LD 1829, which is obsolete now because it's been superseded by LD 2173. But it recommends how to approach. Not only, you know, in particular for us, it recommends how you approach a future land use map and plan. It's clear, there's a quote from page 154 of the document. The future land use plan is the crux of the recommendations in which the comprehensive plan asserts. The future land use plan, which results from the findings of this chapter, existing land use, is included in the implementation section following the inventory of this plan. The quote is stating that's the narrative. Everybody residents of this town went through that and created that plan. In the course of creating that plan, there was the policies, excuse me, the goals, the strategies, and policies, part of that implementation section. That information within the land use section is what determines what the future land use map will be and plan. That's why you have that land use plan and map from 2024. Working just with the land use plan and map as you're doing presently, you do not have the supporting narrative of the land use section of the comprehensive plan. And that's my biggest concern. Because it's like you've got this cart, I mean, you can call it changing the land use mapping plan, but the horse is now behind it because it really means you have to, it's the land use section. Until you correct that narrative, until you move into the comprehensive plan, it doesn't support what you're attempting to do here. Not that what you're attempting to do here is an issue, but it doesn't fly as a supported document to the comprehensive plan. And that's my concern. And what you have though is you have an opportunity here. The plan states a lot of things, and I try to put these in quotes in my letter of how you proceed. And that's really what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that you convene a comprehensive plan, implementation committee, as it states in the document. That you find as many of those members that created the comp plan to be on that committee. You have a counselor on that committee as a liaison, not only to the implementation committee, but also to the water and sewer districts, which is a critical part and is not included in any of the information that you placed in the map. And I quoted a section of the comp plan that was very specific about the need for the water and sewer district to be involved. The other thing is you should be having a member from the planning board and a member of the conservation commission, and most importantly, you have a town planner to wrap it all together. And when they wake it, they go to their work and then it goes to the planning board, like it did, like the comp plan did. Because I don't believe that's the process that is being outlined in the comprehensive plan. And so I guess my feeling is people do all this work to create a comprehensive plan. I worked on the one from 2008. And the mantra always was, you know, it's a really important document and we shouldn't let it sit on the shelf and collect dust. And this is what we're doing. And you don't need to do that. You have a guide to move forward with. And that's what I'm suggesting you do, especially since now LD 2173 has afforded you to July 1st, 2027 to get things done. And absolutely right. I mean, Jeff Brubaker just finished. He was the principal author and editor of Elliott's 2025 comprehensive plan. You know, having him involved is critical, not only in making sure that the comp plan is done properly and everybody else goes into it, but eventually you have to submit it to the state. And you're going to have their approval. And I think this is the process you have to go through, like you did with the 2024 plan to get their approval. Because once you have that approval, then you can write the ordinances and laws, whatever you want, because you have the underlying structures in place pursuant to LD 2173, which is what you're folding into the land use section. So I'm pleased that you're not taking any definitive action this evening. I'm glad that you're gonna get into have a workshop. Hopefully by that time, our new planner is present. And I think there's a great opportunity ahead of you. You have any questions for me? Thank you.
Scott Landis from here. Pat.
Pat Robinson, Browson, I'll be quick, unlike Brad. No, I definitely support the smaller growth section because of the concern about the water and sewer and water quantity and quality. But I'm glad that you're gonna just postpone it, wait till the new planner starts and get everything in line with all the new bills that come out. I can't even keep track. Brett, I went right to that, so thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
That's all I had on the sign list. Any final speakers or anyone wants to speak again?
I have a question, Jen, have we contacted the water and sewer districts?
Yes, Dennis is here from the
Oh, Dennis?
sewer district.
Oh, okay, hi, Dennis, we never met, good, thank you for coming. I'd be interested if you have anything to say, and you don't have to say anything, that's fine.
Right, this point, I have nothing.
But okay. Good, well, thank you.
a question I can answer.
Well, I mean, I think, the big question is how much growth can you guys absorb, and I don't know if you know that off the top of your head. It's a big question,
Well, let me say this, the plant is at a third of its utilization, so that we have growth capacity for the facility within the sewer district as it is now. What happens in the future, that you got, when the new planner comes in, I'd like him or whoever it is to at least come by and see bring any new plan so that we can at least take a look at it. And look at the calculation for flow. That's about all I can offer.
that's great, thank you.
Anyone else? Any other questions? So I think it sounds like maybe there's consensus with the council that we table this topic for our workshop in July with the planning board, so we can hash through this in more detail, but I'm hearing from you guys.
Yeah, potentially officially invite water and sewer.
Yeah.
And maybe send them questions prior to that we would be. Not making any decisions now, obviously, but I think that would be good just so that they can come prepared.
And we set that date as July 21st.
July 1st. We can extend it if it's to the water and sewer district. They may join us, they may not, it's them, but we can absolutely extend it. I mean, Jenny, looks like you're about to.
I know John did invite them, but I'll make sure they get plenty of notice for this July 21st workshop.
Okay.
Six.
Let's say first.
Six PM.
All right, so that wraps up our public hearing for the proposed new growth area. I don't think there's any planning board, you guys don't have any this evening.
No, I just wanna announce that we have no meeting tomorrow, our next meeting is 24th, and we do have a public hearing then for both. The Green Foundry project for my members and also for the EEU.
So that takes care of our business for this evening. The town council is meeting in our regular meeting next week. Based on our consensus this evening, I think we will not have these proposed changes on our agenda. We'll table those till later on after we have that workshop in July. Thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you for your insight.
I'm related, it's 5 minutes.
Sure.
Somebody left some keys.
Ah.
Oh,